Go.
Well, everyone, thanks so much for watching the video. Sherry and I are going to talk a little bit about AirTap today. So AirTap is an air turning positioning system for two purposes. First is safe patient handling, and second is for pressure injury prevention. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about the system. The first thing you're going to notice is placement on the system. All right, it's very, very important that placement is at the top of the shoulders. You don't want it too far down the back, okay? So if anything, err on the side of caution and have it a little bit higher. It also needs to be straight on the bed as well, okay? Moving down, we have our microclimate body pad. As you open the system, one of these will be on here already. All right, the nice part about this is it'll wick up to 3 liters of moisture away from the patient, as well as the honeycomb design, which promotes airflow. Okay, so it's a moisture management tool. This is a disposable product, so when we go to change that product, we have our log roll handles, okay? So Sherry and I will demonstrate how to use those log roll handles. All right, so I'm gonna hand those to Sherry. She'll grab, and then we're gonna pull over. Notice on the bottom of the sheet here is we have our black pieces of material. Those are really important that you have those on the bottom of the bed as they're going to attach to the wedges, which I'll show you later. So again, we're gonna bring this sheet down. This is how we change it out again. Right, patient on the side, and then we would go ahead and tuck, just as per how you guys do that today. All right, patient will come down. So that's a little bit about the system itself. I showed you the log roll straps. The second is our black. These are our boost straps. So this is what you're going to use when you boost your patient, okay? This is what you're going to use for air. When we do that, what I talked about before, that log roll, that's the one thing you're never going to use air for. Okay, it's really important that when you do that log roll that patient isn't inflated. There's no air in the system. All right, so we'll show you now, we'll show you the boost. So Sherry, I'll get you to go ahead and plug in the air system. You notice that she's plugging in on this side. There's bilateral ports, so there's a port on both sides. It doesn't matter where you plug that in. It's really just as to where the plug-in is in the room.
So we're going to move.
Hey, Mike.
Move. 1, 2, 3, move. And then go back up on move. 1, 2, 3, move.
So if you can see from the video, this patient moves really easily. What's important to that is that you have a regular fitted sheet on the bed. You don't need one of your highway sheets. So if you already had a highway sheet, you would just inflate and do a quick linen change, okay? So that, we showed you the boost. Now I'm going to talk to you just a little bit about the wedges. So this is our pressure injury prevention piece. So these wedges are 30 degrees, so clinically we want that patient offloaded at 30 degrees. There's arrows. These arrows always need to be up. Okay, and then there's one-way glide material on the top and on the bottom of the wedge so they don't pop out. If you find that those wedges are popping out, you don't have them in far enough. This is going to catch onto that black material, which I showed you earlier. So we'll use air to do that, but just so I can show you placement, that first wedge, which doesn't have an anchor on it, is going to go under that shoulder. And this second wedge here, again, arrow up, one-way glide, has our anchor wedge on it. This one is always on the bottom, and the purpose of that is that so as that goes under the patient, that patient moves symmetrically in that bed together, and there's no shearing happening or any friction happening. So we talked about moisture, we talked about pressure, now we're talking shear and friction, which are those 4 risk factors of pressure injuries. Okay, and that one's gonna go under the bottom pocket. So we'll get Sherry to inflate again, and I'll show you the wedge placement. So what's really important to note is that you don't pull on this, right, or lift on this so you're not hurting yourself. You're just going to hold on to it so the patient doesn't slide along the bed. And that first wedge, you're going to hold on and just press that wedge under that patient. The second wedge, again, arrow up, okay? I hold on, kind of strangle the end of the anchor wedge, and I'm going to hand that underneath. Okay, just going to pull that through, and then we're going to go ahead and turn that off. Patient comes down and you can see the positioning of the patient. Okay, we can't see the wedges, which is good. We know the wedges are pushed in far enough. But most importantly, if you can see here, okay, I can slide my hand right underneath, right, that coccyx right underneath that sacral area, okay, and that patient's fully offloaded. If you put your hand under here and you can feel that their bum's touching the bed, that means that those wedges aren't in there far enough and that you're not doing anything from a prevention standpoint, okay? So that's really important that you do a check before you leave that patient, okay? And if not, again, inflate, just adjust those wedges and make sure that patient's offloaded. So last thing, as the patient's laying flat, what we want to do is get the patient's head up 30 degrees as per protocol, all right, which will make that patient more comfortable. So
take the max inflate off that we had on, and then put their head up to 31 degrees. Side up, please.